Ladies and sinners, welcome to another Tuesday evening edition to the Sin City Sports Show presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We're back at it again, folks. Back at it again Tuesday evening, and guess what? It's following a Raiders game. Unfortunately, it was a Raiders game that didn't end up too well because we're the Raiders. I don't know how else to say that. But it is what it is, guys. We got to go over it, and guess what? The whiteboard function is here. We're going to go over a couple plays that went really well for the Raiders. I have no idea why they didn't use them more often, but we're going to show you guys. Going to give you an in-depth version of the whiteboard. It's the first day. It's going to get better. If you like it, you got to definitely give us some feedback because we want to do what the listeners want to do. We want to do what the viewers want to do. I know Larry's excited. As soon as I showed him, he was cheesing. I'm telling you right now, it was awesome. I'm telling you, man, whiteboard stuff is where it's at. X's and O's is where it's at. I don't think a lot of people get to see that very often. So we're going to show that here on IE Sports Radio, the Sin City Sports Show. I'm your host, Kayle Henderson. You guys can get at us on our Twitter forums at SinCity_IESR, at Kayle_Henderson, where we talk all things Vegas sports. A lot to talk about today, right? We're going to touch on the Lady Aces, who are still second in the Western Conference, fourth in the WNBA. Aja Wilson's still going off. Bishop Gorman had a epic game this last week. Another ranked game, another nationally ranked game against a powerhouse. Going to go over that and how that went. On top of that, we have the UNLV Rebels, who just went off this past weekend. Yes, it was against basically Utah School of the Blind, but it's no big deal. It's a warm-up because they're gearing up for a Kansas team that is bouncing back after a weekend's loss, a tough weekend's loss this past weekend. Kansas is no joke, guys. Leipold is ready to go. I think Barry Odom's got his hands cut out for him. We're going to talk about that here in the next, I don't know, I would say 15 to 20 minutes. On top of that, we got to finish with our Raiders. Again, whiteboard action. We're going to talk about the results of the game and then the upcoming opponent and what I think the Raiders need to do to beat the Baltimore Ravens this upcoming Sunday in Baltimore. As you guys know, man, we got our sponsors. We're going to pay some love to them as we always do here on the Sin City Sports Show. Before we do that, though, we got to say hi to Ralph. Ralph, thank you so much for tuning in. Congratulations to your Steelers. They won without scoring a touchdown. That's impressive. Incredible, to be exact. Adam Karnick, what's up, brother? You got your first win with Caleb Williams, even though he only threw for 90 yards. It's impressive. It's a team win. Team win. What can you do, man? Team wins are where it's at. Doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile, right? Whatever Vin Diesel said. Just saying. I'm just saying. Fast and the Furious used to be go hard. No joke. Chicken Nugget King. Still the greatest name ever. Let's go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're at 10 viewers. I hope we see 10 times those viewers here soon. We're going to do a quick interlude to our sponsors, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, as well as Seal the Deal Wax Sealed by Cecilia B. When we get back here on the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Ladies and sinners, welcome back from the break there. We got to give a shout out to our sponsors. Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. You guys know how it is. We shout them out on a weekly basis. Great jerky. I've actually ordered it myself. The one thing I didn't do, though, and I need you guys to take advantage of it because it is a cool promo for our customers. If you order a bag of jerky from Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky at planetjerky.com, sorry, planetjerky.net, if you take a picture of yourself with that bag of jerky and tag IE Sports Radio on Instagram, with Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky as well, tagged, you guys will get a free bag of jerky. I think it's a great deal. Buy one, get one. And all you got to do is promote it a little bit, right? They got all kinds of flavors. They'll go nuts. I know Larry probably loves the spicy one because Larry's crazy. Larry's crazy like that. He loves fiery poop. I don't know what to tell you. Just the way Larry is. Not me. I don't like to gamble. You know what I'm saying? It's not my style. Just saying. If I have to gamble, I don't know. Volcanic jalapeno, Adam Karnick says. Woof! Brother, you're a brave man. Brave man. Gotta love it. This is Sin City Sports Show presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Big shout out to also our other sponsor, Cecilia B. She is the proud owner and entrepreneur of Seal the Deal Wax Seals. If you guys want to order some homemade wax seals, please reach out to her on IG. You can order on IG. It's epic. I think it'd be great for wedding invitations, baby showers, all kinds of invites, graduations. I think it's super cool. Awesome little niche that I think Cecilia is probably going to be really successful with. Make sure you go out and support her. On top of that, we have to give a shout out to our platform, IE Sports Radio. For the last 10 years, they've been providing legendary content. And you know what? It's by people like myself, Larry B., Adam Karnick, Ralph. I mean, we just get on here. We volunteer our time because we love talking about sports and entertaining the masses. That's what we do here at IE Sports Radio. The mission, be the best international radio show possible, right? On every platform. That's why we're on StreamYard now, folks. And speaking of platforms, if you miss a show, don't even worry about that. because we're on literally every platform known to man. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Audible, Castbox, Deezer, JioSaavn. I mess that up every single time. I just think it's awesome in French, unlike French people. But hey, it is what it is. We got to love it. We got to love it. The other thing I got to tell you folks, you got to go to our Twitters. At Sin City _ISR, at Kayle _Henderson, where we talk all things Vegas sports, because you're really going to have a hard time missing things. We're pretty active on there. And if I'm not active on there, Larry's posting things that he thinks are really cool and active as well, because Larry is the man, the myth, the legend when it comes to the Twitter sphere, or X, if you will. Just don't want to get sued or somehow deleted by Elon Musk in life, because he could probably do it. And I'm really eerie because it sounds like if you know who gets voted in, he's going to do an audit. So I got to get my stuff in a row. Just saying. Just the way it is. Elon, you can't. AI. All right. Terminator. I'm a firm believer Terminator's around the corner. I mean it. This chat GPT, for real. This chat GPT, those videos of people kicking robots and saying that they're going to serve us. I'm telling you, one of these days, T2, it's happening. That's what I used to call my 3-4 defense, is T2, named after one of the greatest sci-fi movies ever made. Just saying. It was epic. It was epic. Speaking of epic, the Las Vegas Lady Aces are still killing it. Adam chimes in. Chicken Nugget King 586, right? I'm telling you. Adam Karnick says Skynet right around the corner. 100%, dude. Pretty soon we're going to be watching robots play the NFL. It would not surprise me at all. If I'm an owner of an NFL team, I don't want players. I'm just going to pay for robots because it'll probably be cheaper long term. They'll keep more revenue. And you don't have to pay robots. Wait. Pause. Sounds bad. Sounds like we're entering not good. Battle bots. Dude, Spike TV. You're crazy, bro. Bringing that up. Oh my gosh. Battle bots was legit. Oh, such a good one. Yep. I'm going to favorite that message there. Mr. Larry B. BattleBots was legit. No joke. Too legit to quit. Lady Aces are also too legit to quit. Second in the West. Fourth in the WNBA. They've already clinched a playoff spot, and it's no surprise because they have the best top three there is. Here's a surprise, though. In the sixth spot, Indiana Fever, led by you-know-who. 19-17. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. It's a big turnaround for that franchise. I mean, are you telling me in one off season they basically turned it around and figured out a way to make the playoffs? That's awesome. But will they be enough to beat the Aces? I don't know, man. Listen, fourth place, Lady Aces are behind the Suns, the Lynx, the Liberty. Liberty are absolutely going off this year. The way I look at it is this, folks. The way I look at it is this. The Aces are getting healthy at the right time. And we've talked about this for weeks. If that's the case, we're going to see a Lady Aces team that nobody in the playoffs really wants to face because they've legitimately won back-to-back championships. That's all you need to say. They're feared. 100% feared. You have a player who is absolutely going to run away with the MVP voting. A'ja Wilson's the MVP of the WNBA. She's averaging 27.3 points a game. She's averaging 12 rebounds a game. Like, she's absolutely killing it. If there was a Lord of Robots, it'd be A'ja Wilson right now. And I'm only saying that because Chicken Nugget King is absolutely... Dude, slam ball was... Oh, man. I tried explaining that to one of my high school players today. It didn't go so well. He goes, hey, coach, what if there was a sport where, like, there's basketball and you could tackle each other and there's trampolines? Like, you mean slam ball? Yeah. That kid, man, they just don't understand, dude. They don't understand. And they don't, those dunk contests were so legit. When they did their little slam ball all-star weekend, that was so legit. Correct, Chicken Nugget King. A'ja Wilson is a dog. And she's killing it. Dude, she's got crazy numbers. And she's just hitting 30. We're seeing her in her prime. I don't know how much longer we'll see that because we all know that sports are sports. and sooner or later Father Time comes to get you. But man, she's had a legendary career for the Lady Aces. She's absolutely killed it. She's been the mainstay of this team for the last 2 years, 3 years. The last 4 or 5, she's been unbelievable. I don't know, man. If I'm the Lady Aces, like, I'm putting her in the Ring of Honor now. No joke. I don't care that she's still playing. She means that much to the Lady Aces. Like, she's that legit. And she's got to be the certifiable MVP. You could have argued for her being the MVP last year as well. She's just killing it. I like the white hair too. I don't know what it is. She's rocking it. She's got this silver hair, silver fox thing going on. I dig it. Fashionable. Some of those, by the way, some of those commercials we see on their Google commercials where they're doing their fashion stuff. These girls know how to dress, man. Some of these girls know how to dress. I'm trying to tell my football players, bro, you guys need to start looking at magazines or something, because this whole tight jeans thing, I'm over it. I don't get it. Like, let him breathe, brothers. Let him breathe. What are you doing? When they're so tight, they leave no imagination these days. What's going on with fashion? Larry, can you answer that question? What is going on with fashion these days? These kids are weird. Like, they leave no room for imagination. I'm pretty sure if you farted, you could see it move through your pants, because they're that tight these days. It's ridiculous. And some of them aren't even denim. Like, it's like some weird leather, and I don't know. It's just, kids are weird. Fashion is weird. But Aja Wilson's absolutely killing. She's fashionably just epic. That's what Aja Wilson is. And the Lady Aces are absolutely dominating. Playoffs start really soon, and it's a good thing because they're getting healthy at the right time. Jackie Young is almost 100%. There's a possibility that, they were looking to hold her out for the year or for the remainder of the year. Well, it shouldn't be a problem. I'll say this: offensive leaders. The Lady Aces are still one of the offensive leaders in the entire league, so they're killing it. Averaging 86.4 points a game. Not bad considering the New York Liberty have been one of the top teams, but the New York Liberty are top 2 in both categories. Points, rebounds, the major ones. Here's another one for you. Lady Aces are averaging 44.6. Their field goal percentage is 44.6 on a game-to-game basis. That's crazy. Their field goal percentage is 44.6. So essentially, if you round it up, nearly half the shots go in. And that's incredible. That's incredible. I would say the difference between this year's team and last year's team is the Lady Aces dominated nearly every single category. Rebounds, blocks, turnovers. We're just not seeing that this year. They're killing it in offensively. Like, free throws percentage, 83.2% as a team. Field goal percentage, obviously, points per game. They're killing it. But where you're seeing them lack, so blocks, they're second. They're not even in the top 5 when it comes to steals. They're not even in the top 5 when it comes to defensive leaders. And those are 2 huge statistics, because what it did for the Lady Aces the last couple of years is create more offensive opportunities. Period. That's all it did. And if you can give Aja Wilson, who's her field goal percentage is over 50%. If you can give her more balls, give her more opportunities, it's more points, man. It is what it is. Chicken Nugget King chimes in. Aces are looking to three-peat. Absolutely a legit piece. 100%. Serious question, Kayle, from Adam Karnick. As a coach, how do you deal with the daily exposure to the truly nauseous scent combination of teenage boys, sweat, and Axe body spray? That odor use. That's awesome. So we basically mandated, and I'll say it like this, man. I try to do tricks of the trade, but we have 2 meetings a week. With the freshmen. Again, we're a young school. We have a hard time having legitimate practices and meetings for freshmen because we only have 90 some kids out for the team. So a lot of our freshmen, especially our top freshmen, have to give our varsity team good looks for Fridays, essentially. So we really haven't had a lot of quality time when it comes to practice, but they're getting essential reps with our varsity team. Like, they're competing with our varsity team. And if you compete with a varsity team for 6 to 7 weeks, and then all of a sudden you go play a freshman team, you're probably going to play out of your mind because you're used to getting the crap beat out of you or competing with people that are older, more physically developed. And it honestly, it's the iron sharpens iron thing, right? But to get to your point, I've made it a mandate when we meet on Tuesday and Thursday evenings from like 6 to 7, About an hour is all I get. A lot of that is goal orientation, how we accomplish goals, how we take steps to accomplish goals. My mission, I mean it. Like I tell my players, all I want from them is to be freshmen. I want them to make mistakes. They're allowed to do that because we have to teach them how to learn from those mistakes and what steps are made to be a better person. And then I have 3 requirements. You need to be a good person, you need to work hard, and protect each other. Those are the my 3 requirements for my freshmen. But for Coach Henderson, you got to protect my nose. I don't deal with odors, man. I get pissed off. Like it's a trigger for me. If I smell body odor, you could ask my fiance. I go nuts. Okay. There's no reason people with today's, soaps. I don't care if it's like basically detergent you're putting on your skin. I'm not trying to smell your ass. Okay. And that's just bottom line. So when we do meetings, it is a requirement that everybody showers. Now, of course, you guys know how freshmen are. They get all self-conscious. They're worried about getting the shower or whatever. So I basically told them this trick. Take a shower with the compression shorts you had on for practice. Change into fresh compression shorts later on. Make sure you do what you got to do. My number one rule, and I say it, I've said it for years, especially since COVID, to my players. If you wash your hands and wash your ass, not in that order, just saying, you're not going to get sick. You'll be fine. But yeah, that's how I combat that. And Axe body spray, dude, I don't know. I think majority of the players do a pretty good job policing that because it just gets really strong. You don't want to smell that shit. Come on. Let's be honest. I don't want to smell someone's version of Axe they think smells really good and everybody else is like, this smells like 8 cans of shark shit. I'm just being real. Like that's just kind of the way kids are. You know what I'm talking about? There was like the different scents, the different colors and stuff, and kids would show up to school and be like, oh, smell mine. Oh, I smell the best. And it's total crap. Total crap. They all smell bad, especially when they get in the same locker room and they blend together. So I totally get where you're coming from, Adam. We don't deal with body odor. The other thing is I essentially put a checklist together for our players. And one of the checklist items was bring a can of Lysol, have it stored in your locker. That way you can spray out your pads every evening when you leave, because we got to kill the odor, man. You got to kill the odor in those pads. If you don't want to do that, then it's required that they have to take those shoulder pads home once a week, remove the padding, throw them in a washer. Throw them in a washer. You can use that Lysol, detergent booster and get rid of all that nastiness. So, dude, I'm telling you, I'm weird, and I sent out lists that, to-do lists that I thought freshmen needed because my freshman coaches didn't talk to me about this crap. They come off the top of my head. I miss things all the time, but my big thing is just kind of preparing them for the world, right? That's my big obsession, and having lists and things that you need to prepare. That's what we've been doing. So it's not a perfect science, but I don't have to smell them stink either. So it is what it is. It is tough, and dude, kids do stink straight up, especially football players. Some of them lockers are nasty. They definitely, let's see here, Chicken Nugget King. They definitely a great, well-assembled team in the WNBA. 100%. Yep. Lady Aces are killing it. I think a three-peat is definitely possible. It's going to be hard. It's so hard to three-peat in anything, right? You could put college football, the college football video game in the background on easy mode, varsity, whatever, and it's really hard to three-peat there too. It is what it is. Maybe I just suck at college football 25. I don't know. Segue. We're going to do a quick, actually better yet, we're going to go to a quick break. We're going to talk about gloves off. So we have our resident boxing channel. We also have set point drop. I got a couple teammates that need some love. We get back, we're going to thank them. We're going to give them a shout out here on the Sin City Sports Show presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Rate, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy, awesome white tea. They are coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Everybody, this is Taryn Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back, ladies and sinners. Had to give a shout out to our teammates, man. Let them play their drops. They work really hard, especially Taryn Rodriguez, right? He's the host there of Set Point. Plays Monday evening, 6 p.m. Pacific time. He kicks ass, takes names. He's one of the best teammates there is, period. And I don't know if anybody works much harder than Taryn does, because he's in every interview. He goes to a ton of volleyball events. He gives us all the coverage you'd need from a volleyball perspective. Never complains about the travel, the cost, none of that stuff. He just kicks ass, takes names, and you know what? He's also a really good mediator on our team. Like, he does a great job of telling people, hey, be teammates. Tune in. Support the shows. Taryn's a beast. He's also a host of the SoCal Supreme Sports Show. I mean, he's all over the place. 3 and Out with Larry. Telling you, Taryn is all over the place. He kicks ass, takes names, and he also works a full-time job. So, like, dude, Taryn is a beast. On top of that, I got to give Marcus Los Great a big shout out. He's been a mainstay here on the IE Sports Radio Network. He's basically our combat sports, boxing, and MMA expert. His show is Sundays, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard. So for me, it'd be like a 9 a.m. Wait, for me, it'd be a 1 p.m. There you go. I'm a little lost. Give me a break, Larry. Give me a break. But he's got one of the better drops. Definitely interesting. That crispy white tea, I believe him. I absolutely believe him. 100%. I could totally see him doing that. Yeah. But he does a great job with gloves off, resident boxing and MMA expert. You guys get a chance to listen to him. I think he gives great insight on combat sports. Boxing is really interesting for me. I did it for 10 years. I loved it. Loved it. One of the best workouts there is, period. And honestly, I think it's one of the hardest sports ever. You know, I know that MMA probably takes more. I get it. MMA's tough. Rugby's tough. But boxing, I don't know, dude. You have to be precise. Not only do you have to last 12 to 15 rounds at 3 minutes apiece, so that's 45 minutes of fighting, right? Moving around a ring, a squared circle, if you will. But on top of that, you have to be absolutely precision and accurate from anything from your stomach, your kidneys, your sternum, your face. Like, there's no leg locks, there's no kicks, none of that stuff, man. I respect him. I'm with you, Larry. I respect the MMA, but dude, boxing is just, you have to be extremely talented to make it in boxing. Like, it's like the 0.01% of sports. I mean it. Because the skill required to be a good boxer is unbelievable. Now, I'm not taking anything away from MMA. It's a very tough sport. I think it's incredible. Its popularity is unreal. Dana White deserves a ton of credit for that. But the reality is, boxing to me is harder. That's my opinion. IMO, capital. Boxing is harder because you just don't have as much. Speaking of boxing, Las Vegas, Canelo Alvarez versus Edgar Berlanga, 12 rounds for Alvarez's undisputed super middleweight championship. That should be an epic fight. I love Alvarez. Alvarez is great. Is he getting long in the tooth? That's the question there. Also, I don't know if there's been enough drama between him and Golden Boy boxing. That there needs to be more drama there. Will we get a Canelo versus Crawford one day? Aren't they a few weight classes apart? Like there'd have to be a catch weight involved with that. Crawford's incredible though. Yeah, I went to one of his first title fights in Omaha. Fantastic. Because he hosted it in Omaha. I think it was unbelievable. I was with my boxing coach, and you could hear my boxing coach in the background. Give him all the gold. Give it all to him. Like it was legit. And Omaha went nuts. People were there. That's the thing about Nebraska, man. We support anybody that's Nebraskan. It's crazy. They go nuts over there. They go nuts over here. That's what we do. I don't know if we'll ever see a Canelo Alvarez Crawford fight, but it would be a very interesting fight in general. I think it'd be a ton of fun. Speaking of Las Vegas, you guys know because we're the Vegas sports show, we're going to chime in there on Bishop Gorman high school football, ranked number 5 nationally. I know you hear that and you're like, wait a minute. They were number 2 last week. Correct. Unfortunately, they did fall to Mater Dei, the number 1 team in the nation, 31-15. I'll say it like this. Larry goes, if you want to talk shit, you can. I can't do that with the high school kids. I can't. They go out and play hard. Also, these high school kids are under the knife, dude. Like they have all the attention on them. Max Preps, ESPN, all that stuff. Those games are being played. It's just really tough to give high school kids crap. I'm sure that Bishop Gorman went out there, played really hard. They're still number 5 ranked nationally. They'll probably continue to get better as they go through their schedule. Speaking of their schedule, they play Orange Lutheran this upcoming Friday at 7 p.m. They're now in the top 15 ranked nationally, so that should be interesting. But yeah, Bishop Gorman lost 31-15. I would say that they struggled mightily against Mater Dei, but Mater Dei, again, number 1 team in the nation. And there's a reason why they do these preseason rankings, guys. Like, you can probably look, even though Bishop Gorman was the national champion last year, even though they absolutely kicked ass, took names, you kind of have to look at the roster from time to time. You have to be willing to say, hey, is Bishop Gorman going to have a lot of sophomores and juniors? Are they going to have guys that maybe didn't get a lot of reps? How about Mater Dei? Are they a senior team? Sometimes senior teams matter, man. When you get those guys that have been in the weight room for 3.5 years and all they've done is develop, all of a sudden they hit the field. I mean, you're going to give a nod to a big program like that. So Mater Dei is no joke. I love what Bishop Gorman's done so far. They're 2-1. They're number 5 again, number 5 ranked nationally. I love it. I love that they're number 5 nationally. They're also the number 1 team in Nevada. And if I'm a college team, I'm still looking at Bishop Gorman seriously because they have a ton of Division I talent on that football team. Straight up. Larry was great on giving us these little previews, these little boxes. I mean, he does a great job with our stuff, man. Bishop Gorman playing Orange Lutheran. So, what are we looking at with Orange Lutheran? Both part of the Trinity League, right? Orange Lutheran and Mater Dei are. So you got 2 straight opponents from the Trinity League there in California. This one is a home game, so you're not going to California. That's nice. Gotta love that. I think it's important, man, that the big thing with Bishop Gorman is they have a young quarterback. He's junior. He's only got a couple touchdowns total. They need to get more production out of him. How do you do that? This is my opinion, and I do this with my quarterback. I love setting them up for success, right? When I script my first 10, the big thing I do offensively is I want to run the ball, because if you run the ball well, average 4 yards a play, right? Put your quarterback in second and short and third and short situations. You're going to see more success as a team. You're also going to see him play more confidently, right? How about this? Do some short throws, do some quick screens, get some completions, build some confidence. This kid can run. Why aren't we seeing some more quarterback draw, quarterback power, quarterback counter? Huh? Speed option. Speed option is the most underutilized play in all of football anymore. And a lot of it has to do with, yes, you are risking the quarterback. I get it. Because in a lot of cases, speed option, you're running straight at an end because you're leaving that end unblocked. You want that tackle or tight end or tackle and tight end to get to next level immediately, right? So that way you have a really good crease for your running back to run. I personally believe that speed option is one of the most underutilized plays. But if you train your quarterback properly, if you tell him to run straight at the end, and as soon as the end completely turns their body and commits to the quarterback, pitch it. I don't care if there's 3 yards or 5 yards in between you. If they're completely committed and you have a good pitch, you're running that end is not going to be able to reverse their footing and all of a sudden catch up to the back. You're good. I think that would be a great play for Bishop Gorman to really utilize if they want to build the confidence of their quarterback, because it's going to, one, eliminate a player on defense, right? If you're eliminating that end from making a play, that's great. At that point, it's 10 on 10, and those are great numbers for any offense. You're always trying to create numbers. That's the way it is, right? The other thing is, I think you could, do some motions. I love doing shifts with my high school team. I have freshmen that are legitimately taking bunches and they're shifting to an unbalanced look. They know who is ineligible. They know who should be catching the screen on this time, and they're quick, easy throws with numbers on the edge in blocking. I think those are great ways to build confidence for a young quarterback. And this young quarterback in general, like Eugenio, I'm having a hard time saying his last name, but only 2 touchdowns total for a nationally ranked football team. You figure we'd see more of that. We'd see more than that. We're talking about total touchdowns. So if he's your starting guy, you got to commit to that. That's just the way it is. Jennifer Bryant tunes in. Hey, we're on Facebook. Hey there, Kayle. Have a great show. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Senior quarterback Melvin Spicer has 4 total TDs, 85 rushing yards, 390 passing yards, and 475 total yards on the season so far. For some reason, that is not what's showing up on the team leaders on Max Prep, so I apologize. I stand corrected. 4 TD passes, 85 rushing yards, 390 pass. So when you look at 3 games, though, that's not a very good stat line. Now, I get it. It's not gaudy. This is high school. There are a lot of quarterbacks that get looks. They get serious looks from colleges, and they probably only throw for like 2,200 yards. That's not what colleges are looking for. You only have 9 games on the schedule in a lot of cases for a lot of high schools. But that's interesting, man. I was just looking at, all players' stats. Perfect. Now that I got it sorted out. For some reason, they're showing the junior over the senior. That's kind of weird. 195 yards a game. Okay. Not bad for Spicer. 25 of 36, so 69% completion rate. Did he get hurt, Larry? I wonder why Eugenio is featured so much in that then. 13 carries, 85 yards, 6 point. Again, this is okay. So this is just kind of proved my point. You have a dual threat quarterback. You have a quarterback that's rushed for 13 times for 85 yards. That doesn't happen by accident. That's a 6.5 yards per average. So are we utilizing speed option? Are we putting him in positions to isolate defensive players and create more one-on-one matchups with your defense, with your offense and defense, right? With the defense on the field. I think if they focus on that, you shouldn't have an issue. 390 yards, 69% completion. That's excellent. Those are excellent numbers. 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. His quarterback rating is 119. That's a good look there. Some of this could be, it feels like he's done nothing but play ranked teams. There's that too. Spicer hasn't had he hasn't had the ability to pad his stats against, Nevada teams that they're probably going to go in and absolutely crush. So that could be some of it as well. But 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He doesn't have any rushing touchdowns. There's just not a lot of offensive production. So, and some of this is, man, you just get some really, really impressive coaches when it comes to teams like this. Maybe they just need to simplify it a bit. Adam says 390 yards in 3 games isn't bad for a high school kid. I'm not really referring to him as a high school kid because he's going to college next year, right? He is in high school, but he's going to college next year. He's a good player. He's a starter. You would think that 200 total yards per game by a starting high school quarterback is legit. We're just not seeing that. That's part of what I mean, Adam. Like, if you can get 200 yards a game and at least 1 touchdown produced by your quarterback, and I'm not talking about just passing. I'm talking about all around. When you look at what he's done, In 3 games, he's had 475 yards of total offense. It's not bad. It's not great. You can get more, especially from a starting quarterback. The other thing is, I don't think they're getting a ton of production from their running backs. Not as much as they could. Well, actually, let's see here, 3 games, 64 rushes, 7 yards a carry. That's the other thing. Like, why aren't they running the ball more if that's the case? Statistically, why aren't you running the ball more? At 7 yards a carry, you should be putting your quarterback in better position to compromise on play action, take advantage of play action. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. I would have to look at the film. I'm sure I could see some stuff on Huddle. I'm just saying, like, there are ways to set up your quarterback for success. Maybe we're just not seeing that yet. Maybe it's one of those things where the coaches make adjustments and we start seeing different looks. But speaking of Las Vegas sports, we also have the UNLV Rebels, who absolutely killed it this past weekend. UNLV, they're looking different, man. Barry Odom's got something going on. Barry Odom has got something going on right now. Yeah, Larry chimed in, by the way, just real quick. According to 247 Sports, Spicer has 2 offers, one from Hawaii and one from Portland State. I would take that Hawaii one in a heartbeat. I don't know about anybody else, but that sounds cool. If you're telling me I can go to school for 4 or 5 years, basically free in Hawaii, dude, I'm taking it. I'm running with it. If that would have happened to me, I would have totally taken it. I don't care if I'm a Nebraska boy. I would have been living on the island. 100%. Feet in the sand. Avoiding cookie cutter sharks. Irrational fear, by the way. I get it. But I saw like some Nat Geo stuff on that, and they're in Hawaiian waters, basically. And if you go down in a cage and you go deep enough, they literally just come in, they scoop the meat off. It's just creepy. Perfect circle. Irrational fear. Almost like a grizzly bear in Nebraska. Irrational fear. But I'm also a firm believer that if you see a grizzly bear, it's over for you anyway. So it's already too late. I'm just saying. And what if it's a pizzly, a polar bear grizzly? I'm telling you, it's over for you. You don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. They exist, Larry. You're laughing, but they exist. They found 3 of them in Northwest, like Canada. Polar bears and grizzlies are like, hey, if humans are going to screw up this world, we're going to evolve, and we're just going to like each other, and we're basically going to make interracial bears. That's exactly what they're doing. I totally agree with it. Good for them. You know, maybe that polar bear. I don't know. Utah Tech was the opponent for UNLV. It was a home game in Allegiant Stadium. That was a 72-14 win by UNLV. UNLV's absolutely been killing it, man. I mean, your first game against Houston, a Big 12 opponent, 27-7. Utah Tech 72-14. Killed it. Unbelievable. Stat lines, I mean, here's the thing about this team. We're going to see a lot of running because you have 2 very good running quarterbacks, but Matt Sluka, he went for 161 yards and 3 touchdowns. Ricky White is back and healthy. He caught those 3 touchdowns for 111 yards. And you're seeing a UNLV team that is really committing to the run. Like, really committing to the run. Let's see here. This last game, rushing went crazy, right? Trying to get a full view here. Full box score. Got to love that. UNLV rushing, 62 rushes. There's no way. There's no way. 62 rushes, 503 yards rushing, 8.1 yards a carry, and 6 touchdowns. What? And your quarterbacks threw for 191 yards and 3 touchdowns. This is a stat line you'll never see ever again. Maybe ever again. 62 rushes for 503 yards. I'm not kidding when I say this, guys. This is crazy. I get it. It's Utah Tech. But that's still impressive. 60. What? That's a lot of plays, man. You got a lot of plays in. Like, we're talking 80 plays as an offense. Whew. That is nuts. Fumbles. Oh, looks like they had like 3 fumbles, only lost 1. They recovered 1. See, defensively, we saw essentially 50 snaps total, 26 solo tackles, which is nice. Gotta love that. We had 1 sack, 4 TFLs, and yeah, I mean, good way to go. Unbelievable. It was 44-7 at half. Dude, I still can't get over 500 plus rushing yards. I don't know if I've ever heard of that stat. I'm not kidding, man. We're talking about a guy that lived during the prime Oregon days when they were running for 300 yards a game and still had a quarterback throwing for 300 yards a game. Like, UNLV had 503 rushing yards. What in the hell? Or as Deadpool would say, what in the ass? That's crazy. Unbelievable. That's a great stat line. So what's next? Oh, I got this for you. Kansas. At Kansas. So you have 2 great wins, in my opinion. 2 great wins. Now you have to go into Kansas against a Lance Leipold coached team. A Kansas team that's coming off a loss. As you guys know, Kansas lost to Illinois. Now, Illinois is not a scrub. All right? Brett Bielema knows how to coach teams. Illinois pounded the rock. And the Big 12 is not used to really, really good running teams. That's why I think Utah is going to win the Big 12 if Cam Rising is healthy. Obviously, he had that setback this week with Baylor. Hopefully, he's healthy. He's good. But Illinois is no joke. When you look at that game, they had a hard time stopping the run. But I'll say this. Kansas quarterback had a hard time. So if you're UNLV, I'm doing whatever Illinois did. Straight up. It sounds simple, guys, but there's obviously something there that really punched Kansas in the face. This is a winnable game. I'm going to say they win because if I don't, Larry will probably fire me. Because Larry only hires homers. That's his thing, man. But it's going to be a tough game. Like a really tough game. Kansas is not going to lay down. I still think Kansas is one of those teams that's going to end up ranked at the end of the season. I think they'll have 7-8 wins. They'll be playing for a legitimate bowl game. And it's just fun watching Kansas in their evolution. But I love what UNLV is doing so far, and they're kicking ass. They really are. They're absolutely laying waste to any expectations that I think a lot of people had for them so far this season. And that's huge because Barry Odom is he's in his 2nd season. We're just seeing them improve. Imagine if you get a win in Kansas. I would like to know how much Kansas, I'm going to look at this when we're on the break because we're going to go to a quick break here in a second. I'm actually going to see how much Kansas paid UNLV to come to town. Imagine if UNLV wins and Kansas had to pay them for that loss. Kind of like Notre Dame and Northern Illinois, $1.4 million. Are you kidding? Dude, that'd be embarrassing, by the way. That would suck. Oregon almost lost to Boise State. By the way, that's another Mountain West team that's going to be really scary this year. They put up a really good fight against a very talented Oregon team. That's terrifying. We're going to go to a quick break here on Sin City Sports Show. When we get back, we are going to talk the Raiders, and I got a little gift for you guys. I've been telling you for a year. We're going to line it up. Larry's excited. I'm excited. We'll show you guys a little bit of our whiteboard and how we're going to feature it. It's our first show doing this. So, let us know if you like it, if it's something you want to see more often, and we'll clean it up. It's the first time. It's not going to be perfect, but we'll get it for you here on the Sin City Sports Show presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, Pittsburgh? This is Ralph Calise, the host of the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Are you that passionate, diehard Steelers, Penguins, Pirates, or just a Pittsburgh sports fan? Then please join me on the Injury Report every Tuesday on IE Sports Radio, the direct feed for all that is sports. And I will update you on all that's black and gold and have you telling your Pittsburgh fans and friends what's up with Pittsburgh sports. Tune in Tuesday with me, Ralph Calise, the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go!
What's up, New York? This is Ricky K coming at you at the NY State of Sports, a new show here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Listen to me every Thursday afternoon as we bring you the latest takes on the Yankees, Mets, Jets, Giants, Knicks, Nets, Rangers, Devils, and Islanders. Plus, you get some college hoops and what's the local sports events going on in the area. It's a state that never sleeps, so why not get the opinions and sports takes that never sleep? Again, every Thursday, 2 p.m. to the NY State of Sports. We'll see you then.
Ladies and sinners, welcome back to the Sin City Sports Show presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Shout out to Ralph Calise, our host there, the Yinzer Report. He's our resident Pittsburgh expert. You guys can check him out on Tuesdays, 5 p.m. Eastern. Ralph does a great job. He's a great teammate. He pops into every show, man. He's the man, the myth, the legend when it comes to that. And then the New York State of Sports by Ricky K, Mondays, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On top of that, I got to give a good, lovely show host. Little shout out to the Motor City Grit, Anthony, the Chicken Nugget King. Man, your name threw me off for a while. So thankful for Larry in this directory, man. But thank you so much. You've been in the last few shows. I appreciate you tuning in. Motor City Grit airs Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard. Gotta love it. Thank you guys so much for being teammates. Adam Karnick has been in this show today. Adam Karnick's been in almost every show. Adam's a legitimate teammate as well. He's crazy good. Chi-Town Weekly, he's got to be celebrating that first Bears win. A win is a win, man. At the end of the day, a win is a win. I 100% agree with that. On top of that, he's one of the co-hosts for the Neutral Zone at IE Sports Radio. Him and Zach Puplis. Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, they're right before us, and unbelievably so, they have been on time lately. Now, granted, we've been starting our show around 9:15 Pacific or 9:15 Central, so 7:15 Pacific Standard Time to give them time to get off the show. But hey, yeah, we got to do what we got to do. Moving over to our Raiders, guys. Disappointing first game. I get it. It's a rival. It's the Chargers. It is. I'll tell you something weird. The Raiders have absolutely split the Chargers like the last 4 seasons. And it seems like there's a trend. Like, at home, the Raiders are money. In LA, the Raiders get beat. And I had a weird feeling, man. I picked the Raiders to win. I think it was like 28-24. But I had a weird feeling in my stomach because Jim Harbaugh, the statistic I saw was Jim Harbaugh was basically 4-0 in his season openers as a Niners coach. So the thing with Jim, he's just an excellent coach. And you guys know, if you've listened to the show for a while, I like Antonio Pierce, but he wasn't my first choice this offseason. It was Harbaugh the whole way. I thought Harbaugh was the man, the myth, the legend, the guy we needed to really get the Raiders back to prominence. I think he's perfect. He loves to run the football and he wants to throw deep. I also think that you have a better chance of attracting a really good quarterback if Jim Harbaugh is here, because all the dude does is win. It doesn't matter who it is, he makes that quarterback better. Alex Smith is a perfect example. Colin Kaepernick, right? Jim Harbaugh just knows how to talk to quarterbacks. It's that simple. So, I had a weird feeling. Chargers beat the Raiders 22-10. Herbert didn't have that great of a game. I thought the Raiders defense played excellent. I really did. I thought the Raiders defense played really, really well. And it's just really important to note, man, it's the first game. We're trying to feel some things out right now. The offensive line struggled. And I'll definitely have more insight on that because I got NFL Plus back again. So I'll be able to review some film. That's part of what we're doing our whiteboard with today. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a bit of recap. I'm going to go over some stats. I'm going to have Larry B join us. He's a host of 3 and Out. He runs basically his version of the NFL channel. He's also the host. The dude's the man, the myth, the legend. He's the CEO, if you will. He runs the entire IE Sports Radio. Absolutely kills it. College edition 3 and Out kills that. I mean, dude, the guy's everywhere. He really is. He's everywhere. And I can't wait to have him on because I told him from the very beginning, when we start doing this whiteboard stuff, anytime you want to join, I think it'd be a badass thing to do because I don't know if anybody else is doing that, not in our space. So without further ado, I hope he just pops in here so I stop talking about him like he's not the man, the myth, the legend. Also, he's got a better beard than me. Of course, he's got to show that off.
I gotta do my best, man. I gotta do my best here. I gotta make sure it's brushed right. We're good.
How's it going today, man?
What's going on, brother? Pleasure to be on the show today, man. Well, tonight, I've been enjoying the show so far. I just gotta say, big shout out to Bishop Gorman. They're amazing. They did amazing things this past weekend. It was a hard game because Mater Day is freaking Mater Day, but great job there. I think they're going to take Orange Lou. Should be a fun game there. But yeah, big ups to the Lady Aces. I want them to three-peat so bad. They deserve it. And freaking UNLV, man. Let's go. It's about damn time. You talked about homegrown talent before in the past, and I had to add this little tidbit here. Greg Burrell of Desert Pines High School in Nevada, freshman starter, running back right now. 11 carries, past a century mark, 101 yards, 1 TD. Dude, Vegas sports, man, it's where it's at. I'm excited for it. And even though these idiots, this weekend, I have nothing good to say about these things I can't say on air. But I will tell you, aside from these guys, just kidding. Vegas is doing good. Hopefully these guys can get it together soon. But Vegas sports, man, I'm loving it, loving the show, and excited to be on here tonight, man.
Love it, man. I'm happy to have you on. I know we've been talking about the off season, about doing a few collabs here and there. I mean, you're a big Raiders fan, just like I am. You've grown up in California when they were in Oakland. I mean, in LA for that matter too. They were in LA, and not when we were around. Obviously, we were swimmers, or maybe swimmers. I don't know at the time, but regardless, you were Oakland. You were at the meat of it. Yeah, man. I definitely wanted your insight. I also thought it was really cool because you're a former high school football coach as well. You still love the X's and O's. And I've been toying around. I've been talking to the show for about a year like, hey, we just got to figure out this thing. We got to get a whiteboard on. And we now have access to a whiteboard. So we're going to go over some of the stuff that happened in the game, statistics, and then give our insight. And then I'm definitely going to, go through a couple of the plays that I thought really kind of set the Raiders up for success. Defensively, I thought they played extremely well. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but I thought they played like this game could have been 20 points worse if it wasn't for how well the defense played. Seriously.
Yeah, no, seriously. It's the truth. Defense kept us okay. They started falling apart towards the end, but what do you do when your offense, look, man, I've said it a million times on 3 and Out. Dude, my high school was like that. We were a damn good defense. It sucks when you run off the field and you're like, oh, we got a 3 out to start the game. Sweet. You can taste that deliciously cold water just shooting from the bottle. But guess what, Kayle? You don't get it because the minute you turn, because they're calling change, hey, change. You know what I mean? They're calling defense. The bottle shoots on your chest. You're like, damn it. And you run back out there. When that happens like 3 or 4 times in a row because the offense can't stay on the field longer than 10 seconds, It really starts to wear on you, man. So it's hard, very, very hard. Our offense is just pathetic. Defense did everything they could, but it was very frustrating to see these guys out there giving everything they had and eventually just succumbing to being so damn tired, you know?
Right. Well, I mean, I like what you said about the offense. I guess I'll say it like this. Here's the glaring stat that I see here on ESPN. You're starting left guard Dylan Parham and you're starting left tackle Colton Miller both recorded a solo tackle. That's how
Dude,
that's how bad you played. So that means a fumble
dude.
because there was a fumble in this game, and then there was a pick
Yeah.
thrown by Gardner Minshew. So you couldn't keep the ball off the ground. You couldn't sustain drives. Now his statistics are showing like 25 of 33, 75.8 yards, 75.8 completion percentage, 257 yards. You know, it's not terrible. It's just, I don't know, man. I felt like he was just missing wide open guys left and right. It was just pretty obvious. He wasn't looking towards Adams very often, which was weird. Adams had 1 reception for 5 yards the entire game. He was targeted 6 times. Sorry, 5 receptions for 59 yards. I apologize, but still not enough for Davante Adams. Period.
It bothers me. And this bothers Adams. Adams don't want to be here. I don't blame him. He's got an idiot behind center who he stares down one dude for like 2 to 3 seconds, and as soon as he's not open, I'm gonna check down. Mac was finally like, dude, he's throwing the same check down, the out route every single time. What did he do? Dude, in the second half, he's like, I'm just gonna do a quick little ghost step and just go to the flats and wait for the ball, and he got a freaking pick. I mean, come on, man. Like, it's so frustrating. And I'm telling you, man, like Minshew is what it is. I don't really have much to say about him right now because that was horrendous. But I mean, come on, man. The Chargers deserved that game a million times over. I mean, we can't hold on to the goddamn ball. You know, we give these guys the ball in beautiful position. I mean, who wouldn't score from 20 yards? I mean, golly, man. I applaud our defense for keeping them out of the end zone, being put in that position. I mean, I've had to do it before. I know what that, but it sucks. And it's like, are you freaking serious? So yeah, man, it's very, very, very annoying when that happens. And I just got to tell you, man, I'm very proud of our defense for that. But realistically, seeing that offense just fall apart play after play, I know, sorry, I went a little bit off, but it's just, it goes right to it, man. It was irritating. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So, like, for the first time in 20 years, we have a legitimate defense. Like, I do believe we have that. I thought they played really well. And if the offense would have if they would have been able to sustain a couple more drives, here's the other thing. Like, it was so bad. Our kicker, who's basically automatic, missed a field goal. And that just doesn't happen very often. Because Daniel Carlson's one of the automatic kickers in this league. I just we're at the point now. Listen, it's one game. I understand. But when you look at this schedule, it's brutal, man. Like, that was a winnable game against the Chargers. Baltimore's next. And as much as you're going to want me to pick them, man, I know how we play in Baltimore. I don't know if we won in Baltimore since 2015, man.
Dude, yeah, I know. I'm with you, man. If somebody's picking the Raiders in this game, they either A, bump their head, or B, they're just really diehard. I mean, of course, obviously, I'm picking these idiots. I'm beside myself with how horrible that game was, and the Ravens are pissed. They had a mental kind of breakdown versus the Chiefs, where they really could have won that game if they would have just manned up a little bit at the end and been a little bit tougher. The Chiefs are beatable. I'm sorry. They're nothing special. They just have a damn good coach with guys who listen to him. I mean, am I all right? I mean, don't get me wrong. They're NFL talent. Okay. They're damn good. They can totally three-peat. Okay. But I will tell you right now, I mean, come on, dude. You know what I mean? Am I right, man? I mean, that's what it's all about. You know, totally anybody's beatable on any day. But I just feel like right now, some teams look at these teams on this team going, oh, 2-time champs back to back. We got to really bring it. You got to really bring it to play the freaking Browns. You know what I mean? Like, it's the NFL, dude. So I feel like some of this is actually mental, man. So I don't know. I mean, but versus the Ravens, this ain't gonna happen. It's gonna be so damn pretty, okay, at all if we go out there and play anything like they did a couple days ago.
Right. The last time we played the Ravens in Baltimore was 2018. It was like a 34-17 romping. And then I want to say 2012, 55-20. 2008, 29-10.
Yeah.
2006, 28-6. Dude, it's just like,
Yay, Raiders.
bro. It's just and listen, this is something that's been a Raiders mainstay. Like, it feels like anytime we travel to the East Coast, they're dog shit. Like, it's just been that way for years. And I really don't know. Like, right now, the Ravens lead the series against the Raiders 9-4. They're 9-4. So, and maybe it's just the brand of football. The Ravens play tough football. They really do. They missed some wide open things. The Chiefs were beatable. I think they had a chance. Realistically, like, Lamar Jackson missed two dudes wide open in the back of the end zone, 2 plays in a row. They probably would have won that game if he hits either one of those. And then you don't have to worry about that review. I think I'm with you, dude. I think Baltimore's going to come at us with a fury. I think this is their bounce back game, kind of like Kansas with UNLV. Like, I'm not looking forward to this week, and I'm not looking forward to watching the tape. It's going to be tough. If you can't beat the Chargers with a new coach, I know that they have a revamped offensive line. If you can't beat the Chargers when they're running essentially basic cover 2, you're not going to beat the Ravens, who are so good on defense. Like, every year they're amazing on defense.
Okay. So I want to get this out here to everybody listening right now, obviously, and watching, and if you're on the replay. Okay. Kayle and myself both played in the NCAA. Okay. We both played college football. We both played high school football. Okay. We both have played at a pretty damn good level of high school. Okay. And obviously, like me, you were a backer, right? Right, Kayle? You played backer. Okay. Okay. I mean, a lot of what you see in the NFL is a lot of what we get to in college. High school, not so much, because you're still kind of learning the game at it's still high on varsity, but you're learning. But obviously, Kayle, what's the one thing we do for coverage, man? A lot of times we disguise, we show, and then play. Sometimes you get that signal, show, play, like whatever it is from the sideline. You get the play call, like show, and obviously you show 2, play 3, show 1, play 2, whatever it is. And it's kind of funny because you get a lot of disguises in the NFL. It's like a weekly thing.
Yep.
Kayle, they didn't disguise shit.
They didn't have to. They stayed too high. And which is crazy because, the thing Minshew was known for in college is because he played in the air raid. So you had designs that were specifically like the stick concept, which we're going to go over here in a little bit because it's actually the first play of the game this past week, and it worked really well. They got 8 yards, and we just didn't really see it the rest of the game for some reason. But the stick concept is you can beat any coverage with it if you hit the right route. And it's like, you see too high if you're Gardner Minshew, you know that it's either cover 2, cover 4. There was no movement. It's not like they brought the safety down to make you think they're going to play man or 3, right?
No disguise.
So if you're Minshew, like, hey, listen, we know these guys are really going to try and hang in cover 2. And Jesse Minter, which is kind of crazy because at Michigan, Jesse Minter, and he followed Harbaugh here, he loved playing man, match zone, right? I didn't see that a lot yesterday. I saw a lot of too high, and it's pretty easy for an NFL quarterback to decipher. This is what I was worried about. I've said for weeks. I think, and I've said it, if Gardner Minshew started this game, we just don't have our guy. And I just didn't see the point of Gardner starting the game because his career completion percentage is around like low 60s, high 50s. He had the same completion percentage and almost the same stats as Aiden O'Connell last year, and Aiden O'Connell was a rookie. I would rather see a second-year player who spent his entire offseason putting on weight, and you've heard nothing but great things, and then, for God's sakes, change his number to 12, for that matter. I would rather see that kid an entire season and see what we have and see if he can develop and see if he can get better, because he went 5-4 at the end of the season last year, right? I would rather see that than Gardner Minshew because I know what I'm going to get. He couldn't start in Indianapolis over a rookie in Anthony Richardson, who got hurt. That's the only reason he got played. He couldn't beat out Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville, right? Like, there's just so many reasons why this guy shouldn't be our starter. And when they made the decision to start him, it just kind of told me like, this is what I think is going to happen, and it's a prediction right here now. It would not shock me if Devontae Adams is traded at the deadline.
It's a killer because I don't want it to happen.
Right.
Nobody does.
Right.
But, I mean, come on, man. You talked about it before. Dumbass, okay, let go of Carr. The only reason why Adams even came to – I'm sorry.
I wasn't trying to bring him up. I know,
I'll
let you
right?
do it. I'll let you
A-hole
do it.
brought over – yeah, he obviously he was trying to, match him back with Adams. Adams is like, I'm down to play with my dude from college. Let's go. Obviously, the idiot lets go of Derek Carr because he's stupid, and now Adams is disgruntled, and now Adams is kind of stuck there, and he's like, I don't want to be here. Maybe if we were better, I'd want to be here, but we're not, and I got targeted one time in a game that could have used me a lot. It's like he went down. Like, I hate to say it, but he literally like went from like, hell yeah, this amazing player at Green Bay, and now he's just kind of like shit. Like I feel like Randy Moss like vibes. Like, poor guy, he's still him because look what Moss did. Look what Moss did when he went to the Patriots. He was amazing, right? It's the same thing. Adams is going to go somewhere else and be a freaking star like how he used to be. It's just, what the hell, man? Like, there's nothing. I don't know. This team just annoys me, man.
That's just the way the Raiders have operated ever since. I mean, and I've said this as well. I point the finger to Mark Davis. Mark Davis is the one that he's kind of been the common denominator since Al died. We've been through 5 or 6 coaches in the 12 to 13 years he's been here.
Yeah.
We had in my opinion, we had a franchise guy. I thought we had a franchise guy at quarterback. He just didn't have anything around him for most of the years, dude. And imagine if Derek Carr would have had a defense like this, especially when Gruden was around or Del Rio was around. We've never seen a defense like this in the Raiders, not for 20 years. So imagine if they would have figured this out and not let Josh McDaniels completely, ruin a situation. I don't know, man. It's just, it doesn't look good. And if I were Antonio Pierce, I would take a step back, say, hey, we're going to see what Aiden O'Connell can do. I know it sucks because it's the Baltimore Ravens, but I don't see Gardner Minshew doing any better than what he did now. And the other sad part is the Raiders offensive line, which is revamped and it was supposed to be better this offseason, was horrible in that game. They couldn't create any run lanes. They couldn't push anybody. Running the football was what we were really good at last year, and they couldn't do shit. And the pass protection was horrible, man. Like, I don't know. There's just a lot of glaring things on the offense, and some of that could be a new system, but because I think the personnel other than Gardner Minshew is where it needs to be. I just don't know what the answer is for this team right now. I think we're looking at a team that could easily be 500. They could go 9 wins. They could also very easily only win 5 because our schedule's brutal. I'll leave you to kind of give some feedback on that, but that's what I'm looking at right now when I look at the Raiders.
It's the truth. The schedule is absolutely nasty. I mean, there's no sense. You're right. There's no sense in. I mean, let's just be real, man. I mean, after that game and looking how everyone played, hell, you can put anybody you want to back there. I mean, seriously, it's not going to make a damn difference. I mean, you can call Johnny Manziel and be like, hey, bro, come back to the NFL. I mean, you can seriously get whoever you want to, okay, to play back there, and it's not going to make a difference because, yeah, man, the defense. I know they did their damnedest, but it's true, man. I mean. I don't know. Crosby seemed off this time. Wilkins he just wasn't there. Everybody else was just looking to the secondary. They were thumping at first. They just kind of let it. I don't know. Everything's kind of fell apart. And then look at the other side of the ball. I love how you bring up cover 2. Okay, I want to bring this up really quick because earlier you brought that up with cover 2. Like you said, there's no disguising. Okay, really quick, guys, for everybody who isn't the X's and O's type, okay? Because obviously, Kayle and I, that's what we do. It's kind of been a thing for us for a long time, guys. Cover 2, and I wish I had something to pull up here, but cover 2 is pretty simple. Okay, you got your and it all depends on what you're playing. Usually, I've seen it out of nickel, basic 4-3, but the 2 corners are just gonna sit in the flats. They're not gonna do much. They're just gonna kind of hang out. You're gonna have your safeties up top. And then realistically, everyone's just got hooked to curl in the middle, and you're not buzzing anybody. Defensive line is just going all for. It's very, very basic. Really, cover two is just trying to keep everything underneath. And that's what it is. And this is kind of funny because the Chargers were like, we can do this all game long. Like, we know Minshew. We know what he's going to do. He's going to try to burn us like deep once or twice. But once he gets discouraged, he's going to start checking everything down. And if we keep everything underneath us, we're going to get off the field quick. It was beautifully played. It's a stupid gameplay by the Raiders to just do exactly like we fed right into their plan. So anyway, I'm sorry, dude. I guess I said one a little bit, but I just it bums
Here's a
me
quick
out.
diagram of cover two for folks out there. Okay, I did this with the snip tool. This is perfect.
Right
this
there.
is not including the down lineman, but what we're looking at probably here is a basic 4-3. The Tampa 2 is what it's known for. We saw this in Tampa. You know, you guys get it. Monty Kiffin basically stapled this defense. It was his thing. So you have your corners playing the flat. Usually the flat is anything from basically the hash mark 10 yards and in, essentially is what we tell our kids. What I usually do when I play cover two with our team is I have our corners press. I think knocking that receiver off their route and then just falling back to where you need to be. I also press with the corners because it makes them essentially it gives you two more defensive ends because you have outside contain that way, right? So that's how we tend to play cover two when I coach it. But reality is you have the two. Yeah, Adam, Monty Kiffin, Tony Dungy, Godfathers cover two. They loved cover two. They always had two ridiculously good safeties, really physical corners that did a great job of keeping things in front of them. That's what the cover two is. It's one of those where like bend don't break defenses. Like you may get 4 or 5 yards a shot, but you're not going to get anything deep on us. That's what the cover two is built for. But yeah, as you guys can see here in this diagram, we got the two safeties. They're covering half. You just split the field in half. That's kind of what their coverage is. You know, everything on this side and this side, and it's usually based on the strength. Right now we have an even. It's kind of even, but you have a back over here. For the safeties, it's not much different. You still have your halves. You have your whole guy. Usually you'd want this guy, depending on what we're running against, especially if we're expecting verts or something third and long, you want this whole guy to kind of back up to the sticks and just sit in the middle. These two guys are curled to flat or hooked to curl, if you will. And then the outside guys are flat. So this is your basic cover two diagram when it comes. And then this is one of the most basic coverages to run in general. Like if you have a youth team, and I say this to people listening, if you're running a youth team, I'd run this coverage all day and twice on Sunday because you have so much run defense there. On top of that, it's so hard for a youth quarterback or a high school quarterback to throw against this because you have to be really accurate. What are your thoughts?
You hit it on the head, man. I absolutely love the fact that you can do this, by the way. You're the man. You're the man, Kel. I love this. Yeah, we can do, man. We better be careful, dude. It's our, man, we're going to be on this damn thing all night. But
the way it is.
Dude, yeah, no, absolutely, though. 100%. You broke down the cover two truly. And I love it because you're right. It's such a simple defense. Looks as even worse for the Raiders right now, even worse look, because if you're somebody who, and once again, this is no diss, guys. If you're just a casual fan who don't know all this stuff and don't really even care to know it, that's not a knock on you. It doesn't mean you're not a true fan. It just means you're not like into this part of the game. But I will tell you, for us who really, really know the X's and O's like this, it makes it even more frustrating the Raiders, because it's like, okay, Minshew, when you go to the line, I mean, you're taught, obviously, right? I mean, I'm not an offensive guy. I've never coached offense. It's always been front seven for me coaching. I've always been in the front seven. That's my thing. But Kayle, I'm positive, okay? I've seen a million times when you walk up to the gosh damn line of scrimmage and you get under center or even behind, dude, you read the defense, right? And you're trying to call things out. You're trying to see, hey, too high. I didn't see Minshew do that.
No.
So you see this, you see the too high. You obviously see what they're doing, okay? You already know these two corners are going to play flats. As you said, dude, it's so true. That bumping, why not? Chip them. Get a piece of these guys on the way by. Hit them. Knock them off your route. You're okay to do that within 5 yards. Hit them, please. I didn't even see that, really. And it's crazy because what was even worse, like you said, is our freaking 50 protection was horrible. Okay, 4 dudes were just annihilating 5, which blew my mind. Okay, it makes me want to throw something at the TV. Okay, and Kale's got something up there.
So this is what Gardner was seeing pre-snap, and this safety here, this strong safety for you viewers out there and listeners out here, this guy wasn't doing much. He really wasn't. He was just hanging here. But this is half the field, right? If we were to take this, I don't see this works. Oh, wrong screen. My bad. Hold on one second. I went full screen mode. I got to back up a sec. Okay. Here. That's bad. That's horrible. You're cutting the field in half.
Yes.
Here's your half for the safety. Oh, this is so cool. Here's your half for the safety, right? Flats, hook to curl, hole shot. Okay? This is all he saw all game. Where are you most vulnerable? Well, you know that this area over here, so let me see if I can change the color real quick. Oh, my God. Over here, corner routes. Huge. Okay? You're reading the defense here. This middle shot here is always vulnerable if you can do it right and you got the proper motion. There's the hole shot again on this side. Okay? In a lot of cases, you can take advantage of this here, but this is what I'm saying about the cover 2. Unless you have a really accurate quarterback, you're not throwing here. Right? So hard. So if you're Minshew, you got to get guys on the run. And it's crazy that we're talking about it like this, because this is one of the looks that we were getting here. Let me show you guys.
I mean, you can beat that with 4 verts, dude. You can, you know what I mean? Like, gosh damn it. Like, is it so hard? Like, oh my gosh.
Here's what we saw in the first play. And this is why I was really confused why we didn't see it. We just didn't see a lot of motion. There should have been motion on almost every play. If you're in the NFL, you should just be running motion nonstop. But what we saw pre-snap, and as you guys can see, we have our cover 2 alignment here, right? A bunch of little squares. We have our flat player here, or 2 flat players here, 2 half players here. Hook to curl. He's apex. And when we say apex, you're splitting the difference between the tackle and the guy on the line of scrimmage in this bunch, or that first receiver, right? So this is where this linebacker is. This is his hook to curl area, middle hole for the middle linebacker. And then we have our hook to curl for this linebacker. Most of the time, these guys are outside contain. It just depends on if you want to blitz or something. But most of the time, the ends are outside contain, and these guys are shooting a gap. Sometimes double A, sometimes B. It just depends on what your call is at that point, because you want to mix some things up. Either way, if you're just rushing 4, your offensive line is good. At this point, we have to be creative. And this is what the Raiders did in the first play. I don't know why they didn't revisit it. They ran a basic stick concept with a motion. So Jakobi Meyers was set in motion, and he ran just basically a quick flat route, right? Quick flat route. Devontae Adams, getting all the attention, ran a stick route. Stick route's usually a 5-yard curl, 5 to 7-yard curl, and depending on the leverage of the player. So, for example, this corner didn't follow. He was worried about Devontae Adams. He stuck to Adams. So guess who was open? Jakobi Meyers here in the flat.
Every time.
On the backside, you keep it as simple as possible when it comes to stick. You want to make sure you can get another guy in the picture. So they took Speedy Tucker. They kind of crossed him here. And then we have a Y here, just kind of running a backside stick to give something for kind of a fallout. And then our back, for the most part, blocked. So essentially, it was 6 on 4. So your numbers were great. You have plenty of time. Because of this motion, you had to make a decision. Most of the time, what happens is quarterbacks are looking at this safety alignment as soon as they get out of the huddle. Okay, they know 2, we're thinking too high, so it's cover 2 or cover 4. At this point, when you run motion, these guys aren't running with you. So it's not man. There's no way it's man. Okay? They may shift over, but there's no possible way it's man. So at this point, when this flat took place, when this flat stick concept took place, all Gardner had to do was read this corner. As soon as this corner stayed flat-footed and squared to Devontae Adams, he knew he was going to throw to Meyers. At this point, it was an 8-yard gain. We're at 2nd and 2. And for whatever reason, and I hate to be negative, but for whatever reason, the Raiders just couldn't get 2 yards with the offensive line, because the offensive line was absolutely boo-boo. It was bad, guys. The other thing I would say, here's a positive here. Raiders ran stack. Stacks are absolutely annoying for a defense. When you run
hated
stack,
them.
100%. When you run stack, it's so hard for a linebacker and a corner to adjust. A lot of times, these teams are running bunch these days. because at this point you had a third receiver and you're making it really hard for these. Now listen, you have numbers technically. If you're running quick game, you're kind of just you're not worried about the safety. You're worried about these two guys. You have numbers. You have 3-on-2. Okay. If it's more of a middle or intermediate game, at this point you have to factor this guy in, but you have to know that the way that you combo your routes could definitely create openings. And I just didn't feel like the Raiders did that enough. But they were in this formation here. For us, it's like at my high school, we're looking at, so we call this side king stack, backside stack. Okay. Simply put, this was Devontae in this situation. And this was against cover 2. Another way to beat cover 2. What was one of the ways? We talked about that middle hole, correct? Devontae
all day
ran a dig route
right there.
Yeah. And usually you're reading this outside backer because this outside backer has to figure out, am I sticking to this hook to curl? Am I flowing with this guy? Because you have to feel out in zone. It's really hard to play zone, honestly. Really hard to play zone for backers and corners because you're not just, we're talking about an entire area and you're trying to put your head on a swivel. You don't want to look at the quarterback. You're putting your head on the swivel and trying to find guys in your area and follow them, essentially. So the other play that was, 100%. The other play that was really good was this. We had a flat corner route. So it was smash here, and we had kind of a drive stick concept on the backside. And Devontae was wide open. And we just didn't see this very often in the game, which is why things were the way they were. There was no motion on this play either, which sucks. And this was happening more towards, I think it was like the second or third possession in the second quarter by that time because the Chargers basically dominated on offense, but we just didn't see a lot of this, and we saw a lot of cover 2. I don't know if you agree with that, but I thought I saw a ton of cover 2.
Tons. All game long.
Yeah. And it's just something that an NFL quarterback that's been in the league for 6, 7 years should be able to decipher at this point. It's not the case. Now, I know vernacular and verbiage is different. Every coordinator thinks they're super cool and they have different verbiage and stuff like that. Some of those plays are like 12 words long. It's ridiculous. So some of that could be a factor, but the reality is you have Devontae Adams. You had Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, Jacoby Myers, and in a lot of cases, I mean, there's 2 Z's here. Excuse me. One of these should be an F, or one of these should be an X. My bad. But regardless, Trey Tucker, speedster. You have the flavor, man. You can spread it around. They just didn't find ways to do it. And that is a huge reason why they lost to the Chargers, who is a very winnable game, in my opinion.
No, 100%, man. I love how you have that. These could be Hicks routes, the Z's. I mean, those quick timing. But I love how you throw that dig in because the dig defeats a lot of things. Like seriously, the only thing that the dig you can have problems with is if they're in very tight man. We're talking a cover 0. We're talking cover 1. But dude, that dig is gonna usually get open. You got 5-yard in kind of concept. I mean, you can get behind those backers, but what kills me the most is like how you put the bunch. This obviously, former backer. We call them from the sideline in. We give them numbers. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. I'm covering 1, I'm covering 2, I'm covering 3. The bunch concept makes it really hard to do that. In practice, obviously, you go over that, but they move out of that bunch so fast. And sometimes they'll throw you a curveball. You have to be on your toes. And how game of inches, you get one dude with 2 steps on you. I guess a single step to get his hand out. He can catch it on the sideline, 5-yard gain. That's all they need. I mean, it's incredible. And you see this here. What killed me the most is a freaking corner route can destroy so much of the cover 2 if you time it just perfectly. But no, we didn't run no down. I think I saw like 2 corner routes even ran. I mean, it's ridiculous. And then once again, that check down, dude, everyone knew at like some point in the game that damn check down right there, as you can see right here to the running back. Yeah, you knew it was coming. And what blows my mind is, like I said, dude, 4 verts could easily have dismantled this. I mean, there was no disguising. And I like here how you have this drawn up. It's true, man. It's 4-man all time. They didn't even bring a blitz. I didn't even see it. Maybe once or twice, but they didn't even bother.
Yeah,
they didn't even. Why? Why are you going to blitz when 4 guys are destroying these other, these other 5 dudes? So it's true, man. Those safeties, look, they're talented, but once again, you can totally. okay, with that concept of 2 men under, okay, playing the flats, and then that hole between the safeties, you can
Yep.
get in there so easy.
Mm-hmm.
But it just blew my mind that there were no adjustments to counter that. And then in the second half, they were doing the same damn thing. And you're like, guys, you're not going to adjust that? You're not going to at least try a route? No. And it kills me the most to know that 4th and 1 play that we didn't go for it on, that could have been bread and butter right there. I mean, hell, you just gave it up anyway. Why they all thought it might have been a run, just quick little corner, quick little out route, boom, 5 yards, keep it going. But no. So oh my gosh, it's frustrating. But I love how you drew this up here. I love
this would have been a great
combinations.
beater for the cover 2, because what
Oh,
you
yeah.
can do here in this situation, what we call this in our high school team is this would be our king formation, king stack formation. We do X jet, Z snag, right? And then it's X shoot. So essentially, we have our snag route. This guy is running what looks to be a slant, and he's settling in space. So it just depends on what you're seeing in coverage. When you motion a guy like this, even in zone, you're probably going to see this guy shift a little bit more, right? He's going to want to play the whole shot more here because you have 3 receivers on the side after the motion. So this is what the Raiders could have continued to capitalize on, because they were very successful on it against cover 2 in that first play. Just do some simple motion, man. Send this guy in the flat. You could have sent this guy on a corner. Either way, we're hitting this hole. We're hitting this hole. We're making this cornerback make a decision. We're making this linebacker either stay on point or make a decision or flow to the ball. You're a quarterback. You're reading the leverage of the corner. And if these guys just flow, and at this point, I'm doing my 3 to 5 step drop as a quarterback. If this guy moves this way at all, I know I'm hitting this backside dig because there's a huge void here at that point if this man goes this way. So it seems basic. I get it, but it's the things that we teach. It's like you need to find grass. That is the simplest thing on offense that you can do. You just say find grass, period. If you're a receiver, it doesn't matter where that linebacker is. If someone leaves, you don't just continue running your route, settle in space, give your quarterback a lane to throw to. So that's something I think the Raiders are probably going to really stress. It's just going to be really hard for them to do against the Ravens. Like the Ravens are just, they're a possible AFC champion. It's that simple. They're that good. They're that good. So this is what I would have continued to do if I was the Raiders, because that's what they were working. They obviously didn't feel comfortable running the football. You have to exploit them. They weren't blitzing because we weren't running the football well. Like a lot of times blitzing is great for creating pressure, but a lot of teams blitz because they want to take care of the run. Like, especially if you have a team that loves to run the football. The Raiders want to do that. That's Antonio Pierce's thing. And there just was no threat. So at that point, you just rush 4, drop 7, and make Gardner Minshew beat you. That's exactly what happened. And because of the turnovers and because of the lack of talent at quarterback, I think that's how the Chargers knew they were going to win. It was that simple. It was such a Jim Harbaugh game. It wasn't even funny, man. Like everywhere he goes, dude, they win. This is why I wanted him in the offseason.
Right.
I'm not upset about Antonio Pierce. I love his style, love his moxie. He's the perfect Raider coach. But the reality is I want to win. I'm tired of losing as a Raiders fan. And I know it's just one game this season, but we've seen this for 20 years. Like, will they adjust? Can they come up with these ideas to keep things going? It's just I don't know. It's just the way it is. Adam chimes in, says, and a freaking beast at 3 technique, 100%. 100. Yeah, true. That's what you need for cover 2. Yep. That defensive tackle is nasty. And I think we have that in Wilkins.
We do. And we played a lot of cover 3. I saw there was cover 2 concepts in there, but it was more, I saw a lot of cover 3. And look, man, we all know the cover 3 is that attack, yet we know the pass is coming. You got Herbert. You know damn well he's going to throw the ball, and he's going to get his licks here and there, but it's just the concept of getting the ball out within 2 seconds. And he did exactly that. Our pass rush wasn't worth a shit. And if you look at this, Matt, I mean, look, the Ravens this week are going to run. Okay. Look, they are going to, they love that. Gosh damn, they love their RPOs, which you see Jackson do that from time to time, but they love the read option, dude. He'll pull that ball and take off, and he is great at that. with our freaking defensive line over here, okay, looking like looking like four dudes who are confused all the time. Okay, that's what they look like versus the Chargers. I'm very worried because they're just going to eat. They're just going to go straight up and they're going to bite whatever the hell. And then you're just going to see Lamar just pull the ball and take off. For even if he gets 5 or 6, he's going to do it. And they also, I've seen them like last week. I don't know if you checked them out. Well, obviously it was Kansas City. They really were trying to pull that flood. And obviously it's a great concept to run, especially with a running quarterback.
Yes.
That flood, dude, I saw that a lot last week. I don't know what you saw with these guys, but that was one thing that I really saw.
The
Obviously,
Ravens?
yeah.
Yes.
They run a lot of that. And obviously, guys, that flood, you're trying to overload the defense for lack of better terms. You're trying to get a ton of dudes running the same direction, and one of them is going to be open at one of the levels because that's what a flood concept is.
Yeah.
It's just, and if no one's open, Lamar's going to take off. So our contain needs to be so real. Crosby's got it. I don't know what the hell everybody else is going to do, but I just feel like he's going to be just pissed off the whole game. Wilkins will do his part, but I don't know about everybody else, man. But as of right now, contain. I mean, Jackson is going to take off. So what are you thinking this week defensively?
Keys to win would be you can't run past the quarterback. If you want to play a guy like, and this is what we teach on a consistent basis. There's a lot of teams like Crosby's. He's so bad at it. He's so gung ho. He runs past the quarterback. Sometimes his tenacity kills our defense 100%. Like, he's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes he way over pursues, and all a quarterback has to do is step up into that massive gap he left. So I would pull the old Bill Belichick, and I wouldn't run past the quarterback. I would collapse the pocket the best way you can, force Lamar to throw from the pocket. When Lamar throws from the pocket, he's just not as good of a quarterback. Is he a good quarterback? 100%. But the reality is he's not as good. So if we can push the pile and stay in the pocket, I think you're going to see a higher likelihood of success for the Raiders, especially on defense. And I'm not really worried about our defense at this point. I'm worried about our offense. I think our defense can figure it out. Just to give you guys an example of what we're talking about before we got to end the show here pretty quickly, but we're kicking ass and taking names.
My bad, bro. My bad.
You're good. So this is what I'm talking about when I say we have to contain the quarterback. The idea behind this type of defense, and we saw a lot of 4-man fronts. We're probably going to see a lot of 4 and 5-man fronts against the Ravens because they love running double tight ends as well. You want to stay about here. What we see from Crosby is here, right? We can't do that if we want to beat Lamar Jackson because all of a sudden you leave a huge gap here when that tackle drops back. The tackle wants him to run out of the play. Lamar Jackson wants him to run out of the play. Yes.
Wash 100%, him.
100%. So we need guys to stay here, here, and here, right? And even if this is left open, that's fine. You got a hole shot. And you can just kind of twist these guys as you go if you need to. But regardless, you don't want to go more than a couple yards past the line of scrimmage if you don't have to, because it forces Lamar to stay here and throw. If he goes out this way, Crosby's going to get him, right?
Yes.
If he goes left, Malcolm Kuntz or Tyree Wilson will get him out here. So containing him and forcing him to be a pocket passer when he's not a natural pocket passer, that is the key to victory on the defensive side of the ball for me as for the Raiders.
100%. Do not over pursue. Collapse the pocket. Gosh damn it, set the edge. Oh my gosh, set the edge. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm going to lose my shit here in a couple of seconds. Set the edge. Gosh damn it, set the edge. I mean, because it's true. You're absolutely, and you, especially an air raid guy, Kayle, you're the offensive mind. Dude, you got an extremely aggressive defensive end. You're going to tell your tackle, take him wherever he wants to go. Yeah. If he wants to go 50 yards backwards, let him.
Kick his ass out. Let him do it.
Him out. Let 100%. Him take himself out of the play. Let him do it. And Crosby, he's got to sit. Get back there and sit. Hold that edge. Long arm that fool. You know what I mean? Like, you have to sit. And it's just one of those things, man. We cannot let, because Lamar, you know damn well he don't give a damn. He's gonna take off at any given point, and the dude's so talented that he can do it. So I mean, yeah. So and then really quick, I just wanted to roll the other side. I know, really fast. The 34 attack, 34. It's uncommon. I haven't seen the Ravens really run a 34 ever. This is very new. I call it the guessing game defense. It's a 34 because you don't know where that fourth pressure is coming from, if it's coming at all. However, what do you think? What do you think? Are you? What is our idiotic offense got to do this week to beat that 34?
Yeah, first off, if we have a tight end essentially near the box, we're going to see a four-man front from the Ravens. That's what's going to happen. It's going to go from a 3-4 to a four-man. They're going to bring a guy up. But the Ravens are notorious for running single high coverage and playing man and nickel for that matter, because their front seven, their front six is better than 98% of the NFL. Like,
oh yeah.
Dude, Roquan Smith, all them guys, they're studs. And it doesn't matter who it is or what they do. It seems like they always find a stud on defense. But we're going to see more of a front like this. They're going to probably come up and press. We'll have a second guy that's ready to go either. We don't want to give up the outside much, but as long as if this guy's outside release, that's fine. If he's inside release, you just take over here if you're the corner or that nickel corner that's kind of covering the stack. Regardless, what we're going to see from the Baltimore Ravens is exactly what you're talking about. These guys blitz. They blitz a F ton, and they play man coverage because they have Humphreys. They have studs on the outside. If the Raiders are smart, they would log their blitzes. They would calculate how often they run those specific blitzes on certain situations, and defensive coordinators do a really good job of masking that these days. This is why I think the defense has really become a prominent staple of the NFL again, because these guys have evolved. Like, they've done nothing but draft elite defensive players in college. And that is a focal point because the offense was just scoring 30-plus points at will. It's just a cycle in the NFL that we see on a consistent basis. But in this case, if I am the Baltimore Ravens, I stick to my guns. And I try to blitz the Raiders because this offensive line was dog shit. If you are the Raiders, you need to replace these blitzers. It's that simple. You have to have hot routes ready to go. You have to be able to replace space. So if this guy, for example, if Roquan Smith decides he's going to leave, right? We need to have a route here, a slant here to replace him. That's the easiest way to beat a team like this and replace them. Also, in my opinion, I think taking an advantage of a really good screen game is a way to do that. When a team like this is this aggressive and you have multiple blitzers, which we're going to see from the Ravens, they send 5-6 more, probably more than most teams in the NFL. What you need to do is make sure you have a check call that essentially sets up our offensive line to block 1-1,000, 2-1,000, and then try to get to second level with those leftover players. Just slip the back out. Or one of my favorite screens of all time is simply a shallow cross screen. So you have the 1-1,000, 2-1,000. You have a guy coming around here. These guys have blitzed, or these guys have blitzed, right? And it just depends on what you're reading. Like if you're Gardner Minshew and you see this guy stepping up, backing off, this guy is more than likely coming. He's just showing, right? You know, but eventually he's going to come. And the Ravens are notorious for that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a shallow cross to that guy. I'm going to have the offensive line 1-1,000, 2-1,000, and all of a sudden we're getting a field and we're taking on blockers out in space, right? That is a way to take care of a heavy blitzing defense, replace the blitzers with either short routes, hot routes for that matter, force the corners to be excellent in man coverage, and the Ravens usually are. It's just not easy, but that would be how I would try to defeat the Ravens. Otherwise, if you're really the bully you think you are, you have to establish the run as well. Like if we got 6 guys in the box here and they're running their 6 or 7, we have to eliminate one of these guys, remove them from the play entirely, and we have to take advantage of the numbers, get 6 on 6, get hat on a hat, because that's how you're going to win football games, right? I think we're going to see a lot of 12 personnel this week, more than what we saw last week. I think Mike Mayer and Brock Bowers are absolutely they're going to be on the field a lot. I don't know if they'll eat, but that is how, in my opinion, you're going to beat the Ravens if you're the Raiders. It's just not easy. Not easy. And the other thing is another man beater that is crazy is mesh. Force these linebackers to cross.
Love mesh concept.
100%.
Yes.
For you guys out there that have never seen mesh, it's pretty simple. The Y rule is usually this guy sets the distance. We have our guy crossing here. These guys usually settle in space, but in man, they tend to just run to the flats. Most of the time, you'll have a home route here to take care of that, and either a dig or a post by this guy. And then usually the running back, he's either setting in the block or he's kind of a choice route. Regardless, this is a man beater because you're forcing these linebackers to cross each other. I love doing mesh. The problem is you have to have time to run mesh, and the Raiders did not provide any time last week. And this front is much better than the Chargers front, period. So
my gosh,
it's one of those things where this would be another way. The shallow screens, the running back screens, the route replacements on blitzing. But other than that, it's going to be a really tough game for the Raiders on offense, especially with what we saw against the Chargers.
It is, and I promise I'll keep this short and sweet. I know it's we're getting to that time. We've already passed it, my bad, Kayle, but you're absolutely right.
Good. I got the CEO on my side, so I can take as much time as I want.
Hey, CEO. So I gotta tell you right now, dude, you're absolutely right. Look, I'm just gonna call the call out this week is the offensive line. You big ass hog mollies need to go to work, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Like, come on, man. Andre James, where's it at, brother? Where's it at, bro?
He played like ass. He was so bad.
Colton
and
Miller.
honestly, Andre James has been a sore point for me for years. You've heard me. I've been saying, like, if we're gonna replace him, just do it. Like, just move Parman or move Jackson Powers Johnson in. It can't get worse. It really can't.
You're right. Step the hell up, bro. Come on, man. Yeah. Munford, I get you. I see. I know. But gosh damn it, do something, man. Colton Miller, bro. Like, I like you, and I want to really like you, but you make it hard for me to really like you because just when I think you're doing really well, you give up like a sack or you just completely screw up something, and it's like, oh my gosh, like it's irritating. So yeah, dude, I mean, look, you're absolutely right that we have 4 dudes, okay, and I am gonna name all of them, okay, and you got Devontae Adams, okay, you got Myers, which is great, but then you have 2 other guys, and who are those 2 other guys? You got Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer. You can run a goddamn mesh. Okay, you can do that.
Don't forget Trey Tucker.
And Trey Tucker. You got 5 guys who can catch the damn ball, and 2 of them are huge.
Yeah.
Look, the Ravens are gonna hit the hell out of these guys. Okay, you're going to, I mean, that's all there is to it. You're gonna go into this game expecting to go to bed that night, going, oh, shit. I mean, like, all right, but hold on, you're gonna get hit. Hold on, just get open and hold on to the rock. I mean, golly, it's this game. This is what bothers me. This game is not calculus. Okay, I hate calculus. I hate algebra too. Okay, I hate a lot of math. Okay, but that's not football. Football is actually pretty damn easy. It's just go do what your coach tells you to do. And sometimes I feel like it's pulling teeth, Kayle. I feel like we're asking too much sometimes. You know what I mean? Hey, you got a $60 million signing bonus. That's cool. You know what I mean? To go drop the football. I mean, come on, dude. Like, gosh, damn it. So, yeah, you have 4 guys who can catch the ball. Golly, man. Get it to those guys. But at the end of the day, the 5 dudes, that's why my challenge is to those guys. Those 5 dudes, man, do your goddamn job, man. You're huge. Get in there. Fall down in front of them, man. Like, come on, man. Like, seriously, lay on them. Do something.
If they're that much of a problem, cut them. You're inside the tackle box. Cut these dudes. Like, nobody hates cutting more than, and even defensive linemen do it sometimes. So it's like, if you have a dominant offensive line that you need to neutralize, your defensive line will cut them. Like, it's the way it is. So I think the Raiders offensive line 100% needs to step up this week. That is literally our only chance. If the offensive line doesn't do anything, then we probably won't have a Gardner Minshew or a backup for that matter. Because the Ravens are no joke. The Ravens are no joke, man.
Yeah, they're coming, and they're coming for everybody. They're trying to hit everyone. They hit everything that moves. I love this defense. I love how they play. Maybe the Raiders should have their damn clipboards out and taking notes when they're on the sideline, okay? Because that defense is play with your hair on fire. I mean, I've heard that a million times. You have to as a player. You probably tell your players something similar to that because these guys fly around, man. They are trying to hit. If the goddamn white hat gets in the way, he's getting lit up. Like, they hit everybody. Everything that moves, they hit it. So, look, man, this has to be a change this week. If we don't see the Raiders, it'll be an embarrassment, okay? Because the Ravens are going to run that score up. They don't give a damn. They will absolutely destroy this team. So, If the Raiders don't step up, they will get embarrassed again. And I feel like it's something that happens way too much, but they will get embarrassed. Okay. And then what? Now what? I get it. Fingers going to point at AP. I get it. But when it comes down to it, man, in closing, you get embarrassed again. Okay. Especially to the hands of a team who is going to make a very deep playoff run. You're just showing everybody how weak this team is at so many levels. And guess what? The following week, we need to find some things out. We need to, we're going to, because people got to go. I'm sorry. This cat's probably going to, is what it is. And you're absolutely right.
And I'm with you on I think that they should play Gardner this week because this is what, if we want to make the playoffs, this is what we're going to see is teams like this. If Gardner struggles, I don't know if they have a choice. Against Carolina, you play Aiden. Because after Baltimore and after the Raiders probably start 0-2, unfortunately, you have Carolina, Cleveland, Denver, and Pittsburgh. All winnable games. All winnable games because every one of those teams are going to struggle this year. So I get it. Like, silver lining, the next 4 games they're not very great. Not good teams. The problem is you have to take advantage of those 4 games because after that, it's Los Angeles Rams, who look really good, even though they lost. Kansas City, Cincinnati with a healthy Joe Burrow, Miami. I mean, dude, you see Cincinnati, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Jacksonville, I'm telling you right now, there's a possibility we're fighting for a wild card and we lose to New Orleans and Derek Carr at New Orleans. And this is just an embarrassing season because our quarterbacks are going to struggle. And that dude's probably going to be out there averaging 3 touchdowns a game right now because that whole Shanahan offense in New Orleans is actually looking, I get it. It's Carolina, but it's looking scary. Like, everybody looked open. Everybody ran the ball well. And I just feel like in that division, the New Orleans Saints could easily win that division. And if Derek Carr has a winning season, like if they're 11-6 or 12-5 and they're a number 1, number 2 seed with a home playoff game, we're going to look like dumbasses for letting him go a year and a half ago, straight up. And I don't want to look like a dumbass. So I don't know, man. They got to take advantage of the next 4 games following Baltimore, because otherwise that's a 4-2 start. Otherwise, this is going to be a really long season, and we're probably picking top 5 next year. And on top of that, you're losing Devontae Adams. And at that point, you have to ask yourself, we've wasted yet another year of Max Crosby in his prime. Should we trade him, right? Should we trade him before, he gets too old or starts sustaining injuries? Because that's what happens. Father time takes place, especially on that position. Those guys usually lose an ACL or an Achilles, period. It happens all the time with top rushers. So you have to ask yourself, come trade deadline, if we're not looking good, are we going to part ways with 2 top players to gain some draft capital and rebuild this team? Because that's kind of what we're probably looking at next. And we got Seattle coming in. Trade him to Seattle. Screw off, man.
Nathan's is too. He's on one tonight. Look at him over here. Trade him to Seattle. Yeah, they actually look pretty damn good right now. Yeah, him going would be like Nate Clemens being back on that defense, man. That would be pretty crazy, man. That was a damn good defense back then.
Well, the nice thing is they have McDonald there, and Coach McDonald is a really good defensive guy. Unbelievable defensive guy. So,
love him. Love him.
Yeah.
But no, dude, in closing, you're absolutely right. We need to figure things out right now because this is already getting ridiculous. I know if it was a better game, I mean, gosh damn it, a loss is a loss. But if this would have been like, okay, the Raiders are coming, we know the Chargers are the Chargers. But if we would know, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing there. There's things to be excited about. But they came out and just looked like crap. So now it's obvious. It's either A, come out and do the same thing and then get embarrassed, or B, show some freaking balls, man. I mean, golly, that's what it comes down to, man. And you've heard it before. One man's will versus another. Fight them. And if you don't fight them, you're going to get freaking embarrassed. And guess what? Now here we go again. And yeah, it's just ridiculous. And thank you very much. Yes, Nate down here talking about should have started in O'Connell. We both agree. It's ridiculous. And I mean, we're just going to go in circles, but it's the truth, man.
I don't even care if he's like going to be a perennial backup for the Raiders for years to come. I just feel like you need to see what that kid has and how much did he improve this offseason, because he led them to a 5-14. Yes, it was kind of a fluke because every team we went up against for some reason didn't have their starting quarterback. I don't know how that worked out. But regardless, he still played really well. And I would like to see if he'll progress. He's more of a pocket passer. I think he'll absolutely get mollywopped behind that offensive line the way they're playing right now, unfortunately, which could be a reason why Minshew got the nod. But I agree wholeheartedly, Nate. I've been saying this for months. I think AOC should be the guy, and you should see what you have. Let him play for 16 games. If it isn't good enough, guess what? You either have a 4th-round contract to build a team around, or you're probably going to have a top 5 pick anyway. You can go get your guy at that point. So in closing, Larry, man, thank you so much for joining today, man. This is awesome.
Dude,
a lot of fun with our whiteboard. I'm telling you, that was a new dynamic. I feel like it's great.
I am. Oh my gosh, I'm so down. And I know you're gonna be all like, tonight was great, but next week if we do this, we gotta be. And I'd get you. No, next week, I promise we'll be short and sweet if we do this again for for the rejoining. But dude, no, absolutely, man. It was so much fun tonight. I love the whiteboard. It gives us a chance to give, because honestly, man, I've talked a little bit about this but 3 and Out is such a hard show to go over everything. Everyone's defenses, everybody's stuff. It is definitely a hard show to do this. So when we get one team and can focus and then do some stuff like this, it gives us another dynamic to talk about. It gives another dynamic people don't really see as much because we don't really talk the X's and O's too much. So I am super excited. 3 and Out, you guys. We're back at it. We got this morning's recap show. Friday evening is going to be a lot of fun. 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Dudes, it's going to be great, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so excited. This dude right here, man, is the real deal. I love this show. Kayle tells it how it is, gives it to you the way it should be. I will not be long with this. When I first brought Kayle on a long time ago, and we're talking years ago, when he did with Nico Green, the neutral zone, man, he had said one thing. He's like, I am super excited to do this. He's like, my style, though, is going to be a little bit different. And I says, well, what do you mean? He says, I'm a lot like Jim Rome. He's like, Rome is burning. And I was like, oh, my gosh. He's like, yeah, I'm to the point. I'm nasty. I'm mean. And I even kind of paused. And I was like, oh, this is great. I'm like, he's like, is that okay? And I was like, oh, dude, we've been waiting for that. So, and as you can see, he delivers every time. Trust me, guys, this show is amazing. We had a ton of viewers tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. This guy over here deserves it, man. Everybody at iSports Radio, thank you for tuning in and being a part of us and showing love. But this guy right here, man, puts such a damn good effort. The guy works his ass off all damn day, goes and coaches his players as a head coach, and then comes here to do this show. So I'm just saying, man, show him some love. The guy is amazing. Thank you, Kayle. Appreciate you, man. I'm looking forward to next week. Just, I promise, shorter. My fault.
No, it's all good, man. This was fun. And we said this wasn't going to be a perfect show, but it was a blast. So thank you so much, man.
Absolutely, dude. You're welcome. Thanks again, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds great. Larry's a legend, guys. He's done a great job. He puts a lot of effort into this radio. Him and his wife, Cecilia, do a great job of putting effort into this radio station. So make sure you guys pass some love, baby. Pass some love along. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. We had 125 viewers at peak tonight. I think we can do better. And I'm telling you guys, the whiteboard material is legit. You're not going to see that a lot. And I'm actually going to do a little better next time. We'll clean it up a bit, make it smoother. I'll have some things ready to go. I think the live drawings were awesome, but we'll have some set plays for you guys here on the Sin City Sports Show. As always, guys, if you missed the show, don't even worry about it. We have every major platform that you guys can hit the show on, especially YouTube. You guys can go back and watch this show on YouTube, on Facebook, on IE Sports Radio, Apple. You guys can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Audible. We're everywhere, man. Every major platform. You guys want to go back and listen to this epic rant that we just had for 2 hours. That is what you need to do. If you want to see it, if you want to see what we're drawing, all the cool diagrams that we had for you tonight, yes, they were basic, but they were sweet. Go to YouTube. Check out IE Sports Radio. Check out Sin City Sports, where we are here for you. Hashtag IE Vegas. As always, folks, we'll see you next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, when we talk all things Vegas sports. Folks, love, peace, and hair grease.